So in the last class, we have explored the Telnet library and we have seen a lot of examples, right? I've already uploaded the video, but I'll share it today. I forward in daytime. So I'll share both the videos together so that you will have full week. You guys can revise. So now guys, after the Telnet library, which is used to configure the networking devices and the transport is Telnet. So using this is our desktop, right? In this desktop, we have the VS Code installed and this is my router. So now from this VS Code, I'm trying to make configuration on this router. So once the configuration is pushed, according to that configuration, uh, I log into this router. So the transport protocol is Telnet. Using Telnet, I log into this router. Then we'll push the commands, right? Once we'll push the command, then this router will give us response also if we want. That's how we were working using the Telnet library. But first of all, as you learn in CCNA or you learn in networking fundamentals, that to access network devices from remotely, we have two protocols, Telnet and SSH. Yes, guys, tell me what is the major difference between Telnet and SSH? Right. So the whole communication between the desktop and the router is in plain text format. So if there's a person in the who is like a man in the middle attack, man in the middle means that there's someone in the middle of this path who is hearing all the conversation. So if your transport is Telnet, whole data is transferred in plain text format. Plain text format means anybody can read this. Now what we want data to be encrypted. So in case of Telnet, we have the plain text, and in case of SSH, the whole conversation between the admin and the router is in encrypted format. So even if someone capture the data, like there's a man in the middle attack, so if again someone capture the data, they'll not have anything because all data is encrypted format. So if you want to decrypt it, you must have the keys. So that's why in real-time networks also we always prefer SSH over Telnet. We always prefer SSH over Telnet. Now that's why in latest Python version, as you notice, that's why we have downgraded our Python, right? Because you know in the latest Python, which is we have installed on day one, current which is 3.13, right? This is the latest version of Python we have right now. So the Telnet library is not available. Because of that, what we did, we have installed 3.10 because Telnet library is available in this version. So now Telnet library is an outdated library. The transport protocol is not secure because it is based on Telnet. So now we have a new library here to make the configuration on networking devices. But guys, don't think that this Netmiko library is limited to Cisco devices only. No, that's not true. The Netmiko library is supporting multi-vendor appliances. The Netmiko supports, right now our agenda is to work on Cisco. But if you have Juniper appliances, you can automate the configuration using Netmiko library. If you have Fortinet appliances, you can use Netmiko. If you have Palo Alto appliances, you can use Netmiko. Okay. So Netmiko library is not just limited to the Cisco appliances. Is it available for Juniper, Fortinet, Palo Alto, etc. Then you know Netmiko. Before Netmiko, we were having a library known as Paramiko. So the Netmiko is an enhanced version of Paramiko. Netmiko is an enhanced version of Paramiko, or you can say that Netmiko is built on Paramiko actually. All right. Now, unlike Telnet library, Telnetlib is an inbuilt Python library. It means that we directly go to the VS Code, right? And we do what? We say from Telnet library, we want to import which function? We want to import Telnet function. This is what we have done in past classes, right? Now, when we talk about Netmiko, first of all, Netmiko is built over Paramiko. Okay. Netmiko is not available in Python by default. So this library is not enabled, not available in Python, guys. You have to install it. Netmiko library needs to be installed explicitly using pip. So in case of Python, we have a concept of pip, pip, pip option. Okay. So this pip is used to install Python packages. So pip install packages. So in case of Python, we have inbuilt libraries, but we don't, some libraries are not there, right? So we have to install them. We have to install them in Python first, and then after that, you will be doing what? You will be using it in the VS Code, or you will be importing it to the VS Code. Now, if we go to the CLI, there's an option here. We have Python pip install Netmiko. Or we can say pip install Netmiko. Install Netmiko. The system cannot find the file specified. Okay, that's a command to install Netmiko. Sometimes py don't work. Let's say Python pip install Netmiko, because Python is not working here. We have the py command. Okay, so if you type Python, it will not work. Sorry. Yeah, Netmiko will work. You know, the Netmiko was available in this version. The thing is that Telnet library has been removed in the latest Python version. Okay. Yeah. Uh, py pip install Netmiko. Okay. This is the command, guys. This is the command. Controls. Py will work here, not the full Python. Python dash m pip install Netmiko. This command is used to install Netmiko. Actually, this process will take 5 to 10 seconds. Right now, I've already installed the Netmiko in my laptop. So if you notice here, what message I'm getting here, requirement already satisfied, because I've already installed this Netmiko library. I just want to show you, because once you'll do this for the first time, you'll not be able to import it here. So if you'll go to in Python and you'll say, let's save it. ssh1.py, let's say. Let's save it like this. So if I'll say import Netmiko, right now you notice that it's showing as some color, right? But now in by default it is not available, so it will turn it to red. So you will see a red line under this Netmiko, but right now you notice that it's available because I've installed it. But if you'll try import Netmiko in your laptop without this command, you will see error message. You'll see that Netmiko is not available. So by default, Netmiko is not available in Python, guys. You have to install it explicitly. Only then you can import it inside the VS Code. Only then you can import it inside the VS Code. Make sense? Then in the Telnet library, when we were working with Telnet library, inside the Telnet library, we were using a variable, right, tn, and then we were saying tn dot write. So b, you said enable, then you say n, then again you say tn dot write b configure terminal. That once you'll enter the privilege mode, you will enter the configure terminal command. Then you'll say \n tn dot write, and you say b interface loopback 0 n, because for the next line, then you start configuring the IP addresses. So you can enter the commands in privilege mode or the configuration mode. But in case of Netmiko, we have different options for privilege commands and the configuration commands. Privilege commands and configuration command. You can't say tn dot write here. First, you have to use what? You have to use options. Like you have options here. Send command. If you want to execute a command, like there's a particular command, okay? If you want to make configuration, then send command will not work. You have to say send config set. So send command is used for show commands. Like if I want to see the running configuration, so I'll say show running config. So if I want to push this command using the Netmiko, I have to use send command option because this is a show command. But if you want to push configuration, you have to use config set to push configurations. Let's see if I want to configure a static route. So the command is IP route. In that case, we have to say send config set. Send config set. This is what we have to say, okay? So in Python, we have Netmiko library, Python. Pip install Netmiko. Once you install it, you have to, let's say, if you want to see the configuration, you have to say show IP interface brief. But you notice that I'm using which function? I'm using the send command function. So if I want to see the configuration, I'll say send command. What if I want to make some configuration? Let's say I want to change the logging buffered size. I want to disable console logging. So I have to use which option? I have to use send config set option. So if you want to make configuration, you want to go to in the configuration mode. So you have to use this function of this library, send config set. If you just want to verify the configuration, Send command option is there. Send command option is there. Do we have a sample? Like Telnet library, we have a sample of this. All right, no worries. So let's write down it from scratch, and then I'll take a screenshot and I'll explain you guys to in about this in the paint file. Okay, I'll explain. So now, first of all, Netmiko. Now you can import the full Netmiko, right? Or right now we want to connect with our networking devices using library Netmiko. But in this library, like we were doing it like this from Telnetlib, import Telnet. We were importing a function, right? Likewise, from Netmiko, we have to import connect handler. This connect handler function will be used to log into the networking devices. To log into the networking devices. But what we need first of all, we need our virtual machine evng. Inside evng we need the routers. So power on this virtual machine. So first of all we'll power on this virtual machine, then we'll go to evng and we'll configure the routers. In the last class we were working on telnet library, so we have configured telnet. Now like I said, netmiko is based on ssh, so we have to install, sorry, we have to enable ssh on my routers. I have to enable ssh on my routers. My evng is up and running, so I'll go here and I'll say 192.168.236.129 admin eve. All right. So we have this router now. One router is enough. Okay. So this part is identical. Configure terminal, interface, IP address, DHCP, no shutdown. It's okay. Then username admin, privilege 15, password admin. This is also okay. No problem in this. Then we have to configure line VTY 0 to 4. In line VTY 0 to 4, you have to say, yeah, I'm audible. I'm audible. Hello. Hello. I'm audible now. Okay. So we have line VTY 0 to 4 transport input SSH. So now we have to enable SSH, guys. And once we enable SSH, once we enable SSH, we have to enable some keys also. Crypto keys are also required. Crypto keys are also required. So our router is up and running. Let's go to the router and let's configure SSH. Let's configure secure cell. So IP configuration is already there. Enable configuration mode. First of all, do show run pipe section line VTY. So in line VTY we have set line VTY 0 to 4. I'll say transport input SSH. We don't want telnet now. Login local is already there. Then you have to say crypto key generate RSA. Let's aim for 1024. If you'll say the key length as 1024, so you know SSH version 2 will be enabled. It's preferred. So it's better to enable SSH version 2. So now SSH version 2 has been enabled here. Okay. Now we will be able to configure this router through SSH. Let's make a verification here. Putty. Do show IP interface brief. 236.130. 236.130. Open. Accept. Admin. Admin. Okay. So it means that SSH is working now. Our SSH is working. We can connect with this router through SSH. Now we'll go to VS Code and we'll start creating our first Netmiko script, or a script using Netmiko. You know, Netmiko is a lot more easier as compared to your Telnet library. We have to write less number of commands. Sorry. So let's start writing our first script. So first of all, you have to say from Netmiko import connect handler. Then you have to enter the router details inside a, what is this guys? What data format is this? List, tuple, dictionary. What is this? Dictionary. Okay. All right. So this is a dictionary. Inside this dictionary, first of all, you have to mention the device type, because you know the Netmiko library works on various type of devices. So first of all, you have to say device type. What type of device is this? You can use single code or you can use double code. Okay. So this is my appliance with which operating system? Cisco iOS operating system. If you want to enter any next value, you have to use a comma here. Then the IP address of the device, host, IP address of my router. So in this case, the router IP address is fixed, 236.130. Host 192.168.236.130. Then I'll say username, right? Admin. And we have password also. Say, okay, what if we have these values as dynamic? Yeah, it's possible. Right now we are creating a script with where everything is static, like username, password, everything entered manually. But what if all these values are dynamic? There's also a possibility in our Netmiko library, right? But right now the most of the things are static. Most of the things are static. Device type, host. In this case, they are using even a domain name also, then a username, password. Once you do this, this is the information. Do you see anything is missing here, guys? It's showing me some red option, red line. Very good. Comma is missing here. So once we'll enter the comma, then it will work perfectly fine. So let's put that comma here. Now it's okay. So we have route. Like we were creating a variable in Telnet library like this. Tn is equal to telnet dot device, right? Here you also create a variable. You can create any variable because I want to send command to that device also. So you can give it any name. Let's give it connect is equal to connect handler. Then you have to use double asterisk, guys. Connect to whom? Connect to router. The details are already given. Now you don't have to say username, password like this. When we were doing in Telnet, you have to say this. tn.write username, tn.write password. But in case of Netmiko, we don't have to do all these things. Okay, it's very simpler as compared to Telnet library as well as the Paramiko. But you know, in this Netmiko, you don't have to do all these things. Username dot encode, enter the username here, then enter the password here. No, you just mention it inside a dictionary. Then you say connect and connect to this router, and everything is already mentioned. Everything is already mentioned. Then you want to send commands. Like for the first time when we were using the Telnet library, we had some commands, right? And we have configured those commands using what? Using SSH. So we were creating a loopback. Likewise here, you can create a loopback. If I go to my router, I see that on this router we don't have any loopback yet. So let's create a loopback using the Netmiko library now. So you can say commands is equal to, you can use this option, okay. You can also use option, guys, like a list. Interface loopback 1. Next command is IP address. Let's say 1.1.1.1 subnet mask. It can be 255.255.255.255. It works, guys. On a loopback interface, you can have /32 also. No shutdown is not required in case of a loopback interface because loopback interface is by default enabled. These are the commands I want to send to my router. Then I can say output is equal to connect dot send. Now these I'll not use send command option, guys, because this is not the show command. This is the configuration command. So you have to say config. You have two options here, right? You have to say config set and config from file. So if you want your Netmiko library to read the commands from a file, from a text file, you can use option send config from file. But right now I'm not using a file to read the commands. I have the commands here only. So I'll say send connect dot send config set what? Send the commands. Then I can say print output, and after that we can say connect dot disconnect. Means after this you can disconnect with this route. So I said output, I'll send the commands, and then I want to show me the output also, that the commands are executed or not. So right now if we notice on my router, we don't have any loopback interface. This is the first time we're working on Netmiko library. Let's see if it works or not. First of all, let's save it, Control S, and I'll run this script. We got a message, guys. It's not working, right? Cannot import name random. Where is the name random? Don't have any name as random. Interface loopback, IP address, it's okay. Output connect net connect dot send config set. We got an error here. Import cannot import random, but there is no such thing as random. Random.py. It's not random.py, it's sss.py. Working now without any changes. Configure terminal, enter configuration commands, and you notice that even if I go to my router, I see a loopback interface here. Byte was giving us earlier an error message. It's working perfectly fine, guys. When I'm running it from here, it's not running it from like Python file. Then should not be a problem in this when we are running it as normal file or when we debug it, because in debugging also again it's executed as sss.py. There's some problem with the file name because when I'm running it like this directly, it is saying running dot random.py. Why it's running random.py? Because we don't have such Python file here. We have the file sss1.py. When we are running it as Python and we are debugging it, it's working perfectly fine. I'll look into this why it's giving this error, but right now if we run it like this, or if we'll create one more loopback, let's say loopback 2, run, it's sending the configuration 1.1.2. If we go to the router and we see one more loopback interface, IP interface brief. So first of all, let's do one thing. Let's take it here. Send it in the WhatsApp group as well, guys. So we have this Python library, which is Netmiko. So first of all, we said that from Netmiko, we want to import connect handler. So basically what this connect handler is doing here, this connect handler is used to connect with the networking devices. But this time my device type is Cisco IOS. Device type can be non-Cisco appliance also. So you'll mention that device type here. Then host 192.168.236.130, username admin, password admin. It is more simpler if we compare it to Telnet library, because now I don't have to be worried about reading the username, like on the place of this username you'll write this, write the password. No, you just have to mention it inside this dictionary. After that you say connect handler double asterisk router. It will do everything else by itself. It knows that will they enter the username, will they enter the password, and we don't have to convert it to bytes and all now, because it is more advanced, guys, as compared to the Telnet library. That's why we call it Python libraries, because we have some codes, we have the scripts, but we don't want to write it from scratch. That's why we are using these libraries. So in this particular Netmiko libraries, the fundamental things are already inbuilt now. We don't have to be worried about where we're gonna enter the username, where we're gonna enter the password. No, you don't have to do this now. Very simplest form of this library or this script. Any challenge till now, guys, in this particular script? If there's any challenge, let me know. We don't have to mention that version. No need to mention that version. The operating system. Jonos. So in that case, instead of this Cisco iOS, you'll mention here Juniper Junos. Okay. Anything else, guys? Please feel free to ask. Yes. No. So this time the benefit is that the connection is secure. The connection is secure this time. All right, guys. So this is the simplest one because everything is manual here. You'll say, okay, what if we want to enter the host name dynamically? Host means the IP address. If we want username as dynamic, if we want to ask the password from the user, then do we have any option here to ask it from the user, or we have to mention it statically? So guys, these values can be dynamic. These values can be dynamic. Okay. In that case, you have noticed that when we were using the Telnet, so we were entering the password here, and once we enter the password, it was showing us that this is the password. But in Python, we have one more library, guys, which is known as getPass. If you use this library, once you'll enter the password, still that password will be hidden here itself. If I'll ask the username and password from the admin, when we were using this Telnet library, so if I'll say please enter the username, so I'll run the script, you will enter the admin. It will show you the admin. If you enter the password, it will show you the password also. But if you use this get pass, once you'll be entering the password, it will not show us that this is the password entered here. So the password will be hidden. Import get pass. Let's make it dynamic. If I say host is equal to input, because if we want to take input from the user, we have to say input or enter device IP address. Username input, please enter your username. Password input, or you can say not input, get pass dot get pass, please enter your. If I use input function, guys, it will show me the password once I'll enter it. But if you want it hidden, then you have to use this get pass library, get pass dot get pass. Now host is not static this time, it's dynamic. I'll say host. At the place of admin, I'll say username. At the place of this admin, I'll say password, because this time it's dynamic values. This is the dynamic values. I want to make the configuration. Let's say I want to create loopback 3. So I've changed the configuration 1.1.1.3. Then subnet mask is 255.255.255.255. So this time my host IP address is not entered, the username is not entered, the password is not entered, right? I want these values to be dynamic. Let's run this. Run. Enter the IP address. So the IP address is 192.168.236.130. Admin. Now tell me guys, is the password visible here this time? But if you remember in the talent library, it was showing us that this is the password. But now it's not visible because it's now using the get pass. So once we'll use the get pass, it will be secured there. Now if we go to the router and we see that configuration is do show IP interface brief. So I can see that loopback 3 1.1.1.3 here. If I want to send this, I can do it here. After making the configuration, I can say do show IP interface brief. Guys, please make sure that do show IP interface brief, because it is in the configuration mode. So in the configuration mode, show IP interface command will not work. Do show IP interface command will work. So let's create one more loopback interface and let's verify the configuration also. Enter the IP address 192.168.236.130 admin admin. It is showing me the IP address also. You see that now loopback 4 has been configured on this router 1.1.1.4. So because right now we are using which function? Send config.text. So send config set. So you can't send your IP interface brief because when you use this function, you are in the configuration mode. So when you are in the configuration mode, you have to say do show IP interface brief. You have to say do show IP interface brief. So this is more dynamic comparatively. And we can see the output also, whatever we have configured. So let's say this, put it in the WhatsApp group. No, it will not go to the configuration mode. This thing is decided by here. So yeah, if we'll say send command, then it will go to the privilege mode. If we'll say send config.text, so it will go to the configuration mode. Okay. If we compare it to Telnet library, in Telnet library we have to say this explicitly. Configure terminal. So it means that in case of Telnet library, it will always go to the privilege mode first, and after the privilege mode, you have to go to the configuration mode. So you'll say configure terminal. But now in the Netmiko, this thing is simplified. So if you want to make configuration, you'll say send config set. It means that the device will automatically go to the configuration mode. So you don't have to write the full configuration, configure terminal and all. That thing can be skipped because it is part of the Netmiko library now. is part of the Netmiko library. Yes, guys, please feel free to ask if there's any challenge till now. This is our Netmiko library. All right, so that's how we make the configuration. And the username is dynamic, the password is dynamic, the host IP is dynamic. Even the device type can also be dynamic, but in this case, I know that my devices, all of them are Cisco appliances. All of them are Cisco appliances. We can, yes. No, no, then it can also be a dynamic value. Then you can ask from the user the input. Okay. Then this thing can be asked from the user. Now, if you want to see the running configuration, let's say, so in the commands, you can say show running config. I want to see the running configuration only. I don't want to see anything else. So then you'll not say send config set. You will say send command. Because what is the command now? Show running config only. Show running config. So I'll not say send config set. I'll just say 192.168.236.130 admin admin. Show running config. There's no problem in the command because the command is correct. That's how we enter the command show running config. Connect.send command. This is also correct. Print output connect disconnect. Okay. Terminal length 0. That's the command, right? Yeah, that's the command. Let's say control S random.py. That's the problem. Run starting. Okay. 192.168.236.130 admin admin. List object has no attribute. line 23. Connected router, username, password. Let's try to do one thing here. Let's try to run that command directly. Show running config. It doesn't make any difference, but let's see. 192.168.236.130. Enter your password, invalid input at this marker. How invalid? Run again. 192.168.236.130. Admin. That's interesting now because we got some problems. So host IP address is correct, which is 192.168.236.130. Show IP interface brief. That's correct. Show run pipe section username. Username admin, password admin. Okay, not a problem. IP address is correct, username is correct. Then sss.1.py. Show running config. Command is correct, I think. That is the command. Show running config. Yeah, the command is also correct. Show running config. RUNNI. Okay. You see the problem, guys? What was the problem? This was the problem. Show. This command was the problem here. Now it will work perfect. That's why it's saying that invalid input, because once you enter the username and password is use admin also, right? That's correct. But after that, it was trying to run this command. So if this device will, or this script will run this command here, show running config. It was saying invalid input detected at this marker. So after the username and password, it was trying to enter this command, but there's a problem with that command only. Run, start debugging. 192.168.236.130. Admin. Now we see the running configuration. Running configuration is okay. No problem with the running configuration now. So earlier the problem was with the command here. We were making a mistake in the command. So if we go back, so this was the command, show running config. So we have to say show running config here. So terminal length is not required. Explicitly we have already enabled that terminal length 0. In case of Telnet library, we have to enter all the time. But here, if that command is entered on the network device, you don't have to do it again and again inside this library. So you're running config and it will show you the full configuration file. It will show you the full configuration file. Now I'll say, okay, is it possible to save it to a text file? Yes, it's possible, guys. Likewise, the telnet. You can create a text file here. You can give it a specific name because we have used this name already. R1 running config. I give it a name Netmiko this time. And I want to save it to a text file. So you can say with open text file as F, write the output, and then you can disconnect. Then you can disconnect. Save it. Run this file. Start debugging. 192.168.236.130. Username admin, password admin. Done. So if I search for here R1 running config netmiko, so we got the configuration backup. This time you remember that we have configured 4 loopbacks. So all of the loopbacks are here, as well as we have SSH enabled. It means that this time it is with the help of netmiko. Even you can see the file name running config netmiko.txt. So you can save it using netmiko also. That part is identical, guys, but there are a few differences, and I hope you guys have also seen it that the netmiko is more easier as compared to Telnet library because we have to write less number of codes, less number of lines comparatively, right? Hope it helps. All right, guys. And now EvenG and Python is running for everyone. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll see it after this. Okay, after this session. So yes, guys, you can also explore the Netmiko library after this class. And in the next or in the upcoming session, we'll see that how we can have more values in this Netmiko library, how we can ask from the user for the command line, which command you want to enter. Like in case of Telnet library, we were giving the user choice that you want to make configuration related to IP route, or you want to make configuration related to the loopback. So if you want to create a loopback, you want to create a static route, you have that choice. This same thing, if else statement can also be used in Netmiko library, but I want you guys to try this by yourself. If there's a challenge, you can let me know. Okay, but I think that would be enough for today. And we have explored the Netmiko library, which is more advanced as compared to the Telnet. We have to write less number of lines here in code. Secure as compared to Telnet library because the Netmiko transport is SSH, the secure shell. So guys, till now, if you have any challenge, please feel free to ask. Please let me know. We are good? Hello. All right, guys. Justice, you are here. You were not in the class yesterday, right? Justice, are you there? Okay, I think he's on mute. All right. Okay, guys, then that's all for today. I'm also having cold and fever today, but I thought it's on weekends only, so let's not postpone the class. So that's why we have discussed Netmiko today. Yeah, let's connect on next Saturday now. So most probably we have 2 to 4. So on 11th or 12th of October, we'll see if we could finish this, okay? Or max to max 18 to 19 October, guys. All right. Yeah, guys. Have a good evening. Bye bye. I'll share the videos today, okay? I'll upload it.